Well, the three partners, Jane, Marge, and Mr. Jackson, are quite enthused over their fourth at bridge service, a novel business which rents out bridge players. They've been running a want ad seeking personable young men who play bridge, and so far Mr. Jackson has hired 6. Jane, left alone in the office this afternoon, has just hired Michael DeVere, handsome young soldier of fortune who, unknown to Jane, of course, can do tricky things with a deck of cards. We pick up where we left off, Jane and Michael alone.
But I don't understand, Mrs. Ace. You say that your husband was on the phone just now?
Yes, he's been doing that all day, calling me up and changing his voice and acting like he wants to hire some bridge players.
Acting like he wants to? But why?
Oh, it's just his idea of being funny. Honestly, sometimes he's the bone of my existence.
The bone of...
It's behind me how a grown-up man can do things like that. And he keeps on doing it. I can talk myself horse in the face and it rolls right off of him like duct tape.
Rolls off of him
The
like...
first time he called up, he said he wanted to hire 4 players. And I said, 4? Why, it only takes 4 to play bridge. And he said, well, he doesn't play. He just wants to sit around and watch a bridge game. So I said, well, all right, I'll send 4. And I was kind of excited because I thought it was our first order. You see, we just started in business today. Wouldn't you be excited?
Yes, I imagine I would.
See, so was I. We have a lot to count on, haven't we, Mr. DeVere? Well, in 10 minutes, he called right back. 10, it was 2 minutes if I'm a day. And he said, you better make that 5 players instead of 4. And I said, 5? How can 5 play? And he said, well, I get lonesome just watching a game by myself. I'd like to have somebody to watch with me so I can argue with him.
Just lonesome.
Well, that really got my goat. When I found out who it was, I mean. Because there's a time to be funny and there's a time to attend to business. And this certainly isn't it. Is it?
Well, I'm hardly...
Well, afterwards, he asked me to forgive him, and I said, no, I never would. And after this last call, I never will. Would you?
Well, never is a long, long time, Mrs. Ace.
Oh, it's not so long. Once I told our laundry man I'd never send any more shirts over, and in 2 weeks I was sending them again.
In 2 weeks?
Yes, I guess in 2 weeks I'll forget him and forget all about this. Oh, what a beautiful cigarette case. Can I see it?
Yes, of course.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I won't drop it. What a beautiful picture. What is it, a river or something?
It's a harbor scene. I got that in Egypt.
Egypt? Have you been to... Oh, what's this writing under here? Port Said.
That's Port Said.
What?
Port Said. S-A-I-D. It's pronounced Said.
Yes, that's what I thought you said. Well, isn't it beautiful? You've been all over, haven't you, Mr. DeVere?
Well, yes, I guess I have.
You've seen everything, haven't you?
Well, I thought I had until this... Mrs. Ace, getting back to this business of yours and the want ad in the morning paper.
Oh, well, don't worry about that. You're hired.
Well, that's just the point. Are you the party who actually hires the players?
Oh, well, I'm one of the partners. I guess I've got as much to say as any of the others. After all, this is my idea.
But the other players, did you hire them?
Well, no, Mr. Jackson did. He's our bridge expert. He'll be back pretty soon, and I'll tell him that you're hired. And you will be, too.
I see. You're the last word.
Well, thanks, Mr. DeVere. I think you're kind of nice yourself.
Well, I thought the now.
And, oh, you're going to like it here, I'm sure.
About the fees, Mrs. Ace.
Mm-hmm.
You say your office charges $5 a player for an evening?
Yes, $5 for the good players. Are you good?
Well, that's the question.
Well, what's the answer?
Well, I mean, it's up to your Mr. Jackson to decide that, I take it. Is that the system? Mr. Jackson tries out the players?
Yes, he sees if they're good. And he's already hired 6 of them. They'll be here pretty soon. You'll meet them all.
Yes. Now, you say the players split the fees at the office. Is that it?
Yes, the players get half and we get half. So it just comes out even, you see. Like if somebody hired you for $5 to play bridge tonight, you get half and we get the other half. That's, let me see,
Yes, I quite understand. But how about the game, the winning?
what about it?
Does the player keep the winning?
Well, not all of it. You see, Mr. Jackson gets half of that. He doesn't get half of the $5. He just gets half of the winnings.
Oh, I see.
Yes, like if you went out tonight and played bridge and you won, $1.65, let's say, well, you'd get, well, let's say you won $2. You'd get $1 and Mr. Jackson would get $1.
In other words, I'd make $3.50 on the evening.
No, you'd get $1 from Mr. Jackson.
Yes, and $2.50 from the office. Isn't that right?
2.5?
Yes, that's half of the fees. And I keep half of my winnings.
Yes, you get half of what you get and half of what you win. Isn't that good?
Well, of course, it will depend on the winnings mostly. After all, $2.50 for an entire evening isn't very much in itself. It will depend on my ability to win and Also, on the amount of business you people manage to work up.
Oh, well, don't worry about us. We're going to do all right. I know it's counting sheep before their hats, but after everybody finds out about this idea, we're going to have more... here's Mr. Jackson now. Mr. Jackson?
You know.
Oh, this is Mr. DeVere, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, how do you do? I'm glad to know you, Mr. Jackson.
I just hired Mr. DeVere to be one of our bridge players.
Well, I'm very happy to make your acquaintance, old boy. I hope that you what?
I just hired him. I interviewed him while he did those other players.
Mrs. Ace, it is distinctly understood that I am to have complete charge of engaging the players. I will not brook the slightest interference.
Yes, but you weren't here, Mr. Jackson.
I don't recall having appointed you my aide-de-camp. I certainly would not rely on your ability as a bridge player to ascertain the qualifications of this young man.
Well, I was...
Neither you nor Miss Hale can induce me to engage anyone I do not consider a fit representative of this office. And I'll thank you in the future to remember that, Mrs. Ace.
Well,
Mr. Jackson, I don't think Mrs. Ace is entirely to blame. As for you, young man, I'll see you in my private office at once. Any pact or agreement you may have been under a false impression that this lady has made with you is not in the least bit binding. Of course, I understand that. Mrs. Ace explained that you were the last word in hiring your friend. Oh, quite. It's my strict policy, Mr. DeVere, to interview all applicants personally, and to make my selections only when I have convinced myself, first, that the applicant has a sound, pliable knowledge of the game of bridge. Second, that he will present a neat, nicely mannered appearance as a representative of our, that's quite a striking cravat you're wearing, old boy. That figure's rather dashing, if I may say so. Where did you get it? Oh, this tie. I came from England. England, of course. Very fun street, naturally. It has that certain flair. I should have known it right off.
Oh, here's Marge. Hello, Marge. Hello, what's going on?
Oh, kid, old girl.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Jackson. This is Mr. DeVere. Hello. This is Miss Hale I was telling you about.
Oh. How do you do?
Well, I'm glad to meet you, Mr. DeVere.
You're the other partner?
Yes, this is Marge I was telling you about. She's one of the partners. You remember I was telling you about her.
Oh, but not all about her.
Oh, yes, I was. Marge, Mr. DeVere's going to work here. Oh, really? Oh, no.
Mrs. Ace, once and for all, I told you that I was to decide that. What Mrs. Ace means, Miss Hale, is that I'm going to work here if I pass my bridge examination.
Oh, yes. Well, good luck to you, Mr. DeVere.
Thank you. You're very kind. Oh, come along, old boy. We shall soon see what we shall see. In here, please. This is our card room. Mr. DeVere! I beg your pardon. In here, to see. Of course. Right with you. I suppose you know all about bridge, of course? Oh, not all about it. And I'll soon discover just how little you do know.
Good luck, Michael.
Thank you very much. See you later, Miss Hale.
I hope so. And don't let our bridge expert frighten you. His boss is much fiercer than his domestic.
I'm not afraid. Goodbye. Thanks. Mr. DeVere! Will you kindly close that door and take your place here at this table?
How about it, Marge? How about what? Isn't he like I told you? Did you ever see such a handsome man in your life? And he's been all over the world and back. He's 28 years old and not married, and he's a soldier of fortune, and he's out of work, and he has a cigarette case that he bought in Egypt. That's quite fired up. No, it's the truth, Marge. He just told me I had to interview him. And it's all job you seem to have made of it. Oh, I've never enjoyed talking to anybody as much as I did to him. I can imagine that. Oh, you should have seen him, Marge. He just sat right here by his desk, smoking a cigarette with his legs crossed. I didn't disturb his soldiers. Well, nothing, girl. What did you say? Nothing. Well, how did you find out about him and all this delightful little table-tape you had with him? What did I find out about him? What did I just tell you? Well, I was very definite. You don't seem to know who he is. I told you he's a soldier of fortune, and yes, he has a cigarette case he picked up in Egypt. Yes, and he certainly is the kind of fellow you'd want to have come out to your house, even if you had to pay $5. He's tall, his teeth are so white when he smiles. Yes, I know, Jane. What do you do around here? Any business yet? What? Has it been any business? Got any phone calls to players yet? No, only those 3 calls, you know. Oh, yes, that darling husband of yours. Yes, isn't he disgusting? Oh, you gotta have his little joke. Well, a joke's a joke, but not 3 times in one day. And you fell for it each time? Well, I couldn't care. He changed his voice all the time. Well, this is our first day. By tomorrow, I expect real customers to start calling us up. I've run some pretty big ads in the papers, and I've arranged for a lot of radio advertising, and we're getting out a lot of form letters and circulars. Things will start humming around here before you know it. Well, I hope so. It gets very lonesome sitting around here all day with nobody calling out or coming. Suppose you go on home now. I'll take over. It's after 5 o'clock. If you want to ride home with your husband, you better get yourself downstairs to his office. And there's somebody calling up now. I'll answer it then. No, let me. It's about time somebody called up. Hello, South 4040, 4th of Bridge.
I see by your ad in the paper that you rent out bridge players.
Yes, well, we ran out Bridge.
Hello.
If this isn't the limit, here he is again. Well, I'll take him. Let him have it, Jeff. Yes, sir. We rent out bridge players. How many do you want? 4 or 5?
4 or 5? Oh, no, I only want one.
Only one? Well, we can let you have 5 for a quarter. That's charging,
Oh,
Jeff.
for a quarter? I thought your ad said they were $5 each.
Well, we like you so much, we'll rent you 5 for a quarter.
What was that?
Shall we wrap him up and send him over tonight? Very good, Jeff.
What kind of a gag is this? Maybe I have the wrong number.
You may have the wrong number, but I got your number.
Good work, sir. Well, Jane, you ready to go home? Come on, I'll drive you.
Not now, dear. I'm busy talking. Jill! Jane, what are you doing? Get off that phone.
Hello.
What a mistake I've made.
What's going on?
It's the old story of crying wolf once too often. But we hear more about Michael and further developments in this novel business when next we meet the Easy Aces.